Shalom, shalom, call halal Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rahak Yahweh being the true name of the Father as the word and calls God. Yahweh Shai being the true name of the Son as the word and calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect and to the brothers that's pushing this truth in sincerity, risking life and freedom to do so. And shalom to the brothers and sisters that's listening and learning. This is your brother Labah coming at you with another lesson in truth. Then we're going to get into this Joe Biden thing, man. Did he actually call so-called black people roaches? And we'll get into what what a roach is. A roach is a disgusting, vile animal, man. You know, and this was in 2019, and we're gonna show his affiliation with the Klan and all that, man. We just get into it on this one, so pay attention. All right, then we're gonna get into first the emotional state of our people, man. The average so-called black person is just they know that we're getting on emotions, and they know what they've done to us for us with the Christianity thing. They've made us like love oppression, love our enemies. And when the Bible was talking about love your enemies, it was talking about your own nation of people, your own race of people. It ain't talking about love the so-called white man. All right. So we'll get into this whole thing and break it down. So let's get into this. And you see it, man, the so-called, you know, black woman is just emotional, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying every single so-called black woman, but most of our people are built this way. And they prey on that, man. And the so-called black man is emotional too, that's been, infeminized. So we'll get into the first scripture. Not all so-called black men. You got some men out there that ain't about all this bullshit, you know. There's some women out there ain't about all this BS. They're trying to wake up to who they are. All right, Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So what does this mean? Just like how it says, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. You so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans are destroyed for lack of knowledge, man. And somebody might say, well, it's knowledge everywhere. No, but you have to have the correct knowledge. All right, because thou has rejected knowledge. So most of our people are gonna reject knowledge. When we tell them that they're Israelite, they're not a black person. When we tell them that the so-called white man is their enemy, they're gonna reject that. And other things that we tell them that are the truth, they reject it. They say, nah, that's not true. Nah, y'all preaching hate, you know, and so on and so forth. I would also reject these. So Yahweh Shimi Shai is not dealing with most of our people. That's why he got them bugged out into these religions. All right. That thou should be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. So we had a certain way we were supposed to live, and it was a righteous way we were supposed to live. All right. They go to show you, and that's a cut on the Christian church that said the law done away with. It's not done away with. We know we're not under the law for salvation, but the law stands long as we on this earth. All right. I will also forget thy children. That's why you got a whole generation of these kids with their pants off their ass and listen to this rap music. They killing each other, drugs and all this, and also the kids that became adults, man. All right. So let's get into this whole Joe Biden thing. You know what I'm saying? So like, give me 1 second. All right, we got the video pulled up, so we're gonna get into this video that Judge Joe Brown got to go into him calling, our people roaches, man. All right. Who built their reputations and career on the segregation. And they go to show you that these politicians is a joke because Kamala Harris was calling out, it's all WWE, man. It's like wrestling. It ain't real. It look real, but it ain't. She's supposed to be calling them out, but that's the same person that's his vice president. No integrity, man. Our people will sell out for a bag of chips, man. Let's get into it. Of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
They had Wallace there, who was wheeled in, and they had Byrd, former Grand Dragon of the Klan, and they were talking about this young man who had a stupid-looking ducktail like he was back in the 1950s, was the last true yellow dog Dixiecrat, and they were talking about Joe Biden, who got up. All right, you see this picture right here. That's Joe Biden holding this devil, that devil holding this other devil hand. Robert Byrd was a former Klan member, man.
And let me tell you something. This is how this political thing works. In the Democrat, if you know anything about history, Democrat used to be the most racist party. They both hate you. You know, the Republican and Democrat, they both hate you. You know, our people, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, but they'll play that game to act like they're against each other, but it's both sides of the same coin. But the Democrat Party used to be known for Klan members, man. So that's the system that you support. And Lyndon B. Johnson quoted, you have to go back and find this quote, but he said, once I sign this civil rights bill, I'm gonna have these niggas voting Democrat for the next 60 years. And if that's not what happened, all right, well, that's why our people heavily vote Democrat, because they tied into it emotionally. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into this devil Robert Byrd. And let me say this too. You see how he's holding his hand? That's his friend. So that means they got the same kind of people flock together. That's an old saying in the world. You know, two birds flock together. So two birds of the same type, they hang out together. So if this dude was a Klan member, and Joe Biden is known for saying racist stuff, and come on, they the same, man. Stop playing games. Let's get into this. Robert Byrd. And we'll get back into that video. All right. So here go this devil right here. All right, and check this out. Robert Carl Byrd, all right, was an American lawyer and politician who served as United States Senator from West Virginia for over 51 years. So this devil was in the Senate for 51 years, man. And all these devils the same pretty much. You know, one might not be as upfront racist. They'll be more undercover with it, but they all got the same agenda to destroy you, pass laws to oppress you, man. That's what this whole thing about. Let's jump down here. Byrd's political career spanned more than 60 years. He first entered the political arena by organizing and leading a local chapter of the KKK. Let's get back into that video. And this is what you trust in. This is what you voting for, man.
There, and when the speech he gave, I mean, I was really offended. I heard it right outside the state capitol building in Dover, which was a rundown, ransacked old house, 250 years old. And he said Negro children are like roaches. If they're allowed to integrate the schools, they will infest them and they will never be gotten out. Negro. Joe Biden said that? Yeah, I heard it.
He said Negro kids are like cockroaches. Remember, we're going to get into what cockroaches really, a cockroach is a filthy, disgusting animal, man. A creature, whatever. So he's calling our kid, our people roaches. So let's get into that video that proves what I'm saying. Salaki. All right, we're about to get into this video. And I want you to look at this picture right here and look at what you see around him, so-called black kids, man. And that's exactly what Judge Joe Brown said. You heard the quote. You heard what he said. So let's get into this video.
So it was traded and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping in the pool and rub my leg down. So it was traded and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about...
You heard what he said. He learned about roaches. So he was saying, and his so-called black kids around him, this is not a coincidence. The insiders and these people that's in this high political office and all this, they know what he's saying. It's the same equivalency of Make America Great Again with Donald Trump. He was trying to say, let's make America great again for us when the Klan was on top and we was on top and the so-called black man and Hispanics was on the bottom. That's what he was trying to say. He was saying it in code. They talking code, right? But the people that know him and know what he's saying are very aware of what he's saying. All right, so let's get into this information. We connect all things, right? Prove all things, Salakia. All right, let's get into this information. All right. Let's go right here. Give me 1 second. All right, we got it. All right. It said, while the American cockroaches multiplied, many slaves did not make it all the way across the Middle Passage. And ultimately, when the slaves who did survive were sold to plantations to America, you were sold here. Your people came over here against their will. How are you cool with this reality that you're living in? A persuasive negative association between slaves and filth continue, while the slur roach or cockroach has been linked to a variety of ethnic and racial groups in America abroad, it too has been attributed to African Americans, man. You so-called black and Hispanic and Native Americans, man. You know, you Israelites. So that's why he's calling those kids roaches, because he's been saying this. He been doing this. He look at our people as roaches, man. And this thing was in 2019, so I don't want to hear that people change. I know that, you know, a lot of people say that, you're like, the so-called, he ain't racist no more. This was 2019. He called them kids roaches, man. And they go to show you what Judge Joe Brown said was true. You can back it up and go back and listen to what he said, man. All right. Let's get into another scripture. Because our people trust in oppression, man. Let's go to Isaiah 30 and 12. Like it. All right, this is the book of Isaiah 30 and 12. Wherefore thus said the Holy One of Israel. So this is Yahweh, God as you know. And he's the power. He's the God of Israel. He's not the God for everybody else in this world, man. You so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native American. That's the only people that he's dealing with among his chosen, the elect. Because ye despise his word. So most of our people despise his word. When we tell them the truth, we tell them that the so-called white man is their mortal enemy. They say, yeah, you racist, man. Y'all a hate group. You just don't like white people. It's always some kind of rebuttal. But we're only telling them the truth and trusting oppression. So our people was casting a vote. And it's way deeper than just going out there and voting. It's buying into this whole system like you really mean something to the system. Like you really, your opinion matters, right? When you went out there and vote, you just voting for your own oppression. And that stuff is rigged up anyway, man. All right? And perverseness. So this, the so-called white man is perverse, man. They got a perverse spirit. They enslaved your ancestors for over 400 years, and they thoroughly refused to pay reparations, and they said, we not going to do it, right? Even though it's reparations talk, that don't mean nothing. They shouldn't have been did that long time ago if they really love you, man. Because them Christians, them so-called white Christians like to say that, well, it's about love. Well, love is what you do. If you know that your ancestors did something that was evil as that, slavery can't even be comprehended, what they did to us. That means you would have to pay compensation for that. But they ain't going to do that, man. All right? And stay there on. Let's move on to one more scripture. All right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. And this is in the book that they took out. These are the books they took out of the Bible. All right? Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. Never trust thy enemy. So if you haven't got the memo, the so-called white man is your enemy. They have done everything to destroy you, and they continue to destroy you in ways that you can't even comprehend. That's why you got redlining. That's why you got to do a credit score. That's why this everything, man. Things that we can't even comprehend. That's why they push this poison in your community, these foods, soda waters, hot chips, candy bars. They don't eat like that, man. All right? Like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. So the so-called white man is wicked, man. You can't make that. You can't redo that. All right? 11. Though he humble himself. So every 2 or 4 years, they come talking good. They tell you what you want to hear. They use these smooth words. And they know our people is really emotional. So they know how to come in and use those certain words that's going to trigger our emotions. So that's why our people believe in those politicians, like the main one was Obama, didn't do shit for you, but y'all believe in that. All right? And go crouching, yet take heed and be aware. So we're aware of these devils. Though they be talking all nice and they be trying to say they gonna help us out and they gonna do reparations and they ain't gonna do shit, man. That's all a lie. That's all just to pacify you, to pander to you, man. And you gotta ask yourself this question. Every 4 years, they run this campaign, but what has changed in your life? Nothing. You still broken in the poverty. All right? Thou shalt be unto him as thou hast wiped thy looking glass, and thou shalt know that this rust has not all been together wiped away. Call Halal Yahweh by Shim Yahushua, by Shem Rakakwada Shalom.